Salute. The streets are buzzing. The New York Knicks pick up 2 in a row finally tonight down in Minneapolis. It was an up and down roller coaster game, 96-88. I'm with Sharp Powers, KJ Events. How are we, gentlemen?
It can't go wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
Good to go, man. Happy we got this Knick win. Salute to the streets is buzzing. Knick Nation, our first cousins in the chat. Great team win, guys. I'm just happy we got the W. No matter how we got it, we got the W, and it moves us one step closer to keep the momentum going and everything going for us, So I like that we got the W tonight.
Yep, exactly. And Sharp Hours, in the words of KJ Dub, a win's a win. We'll take it. Wasn't a pretty win at all, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, any way we could get it, I'll take it tonight, man. It moves us up the ladder, and it was a big win tonight. Big play for a couple of our guys tonight. Let's get it.
Yep, yes, sir. And salute to everyone in the chat, everyone watching. The New York Knicks are now in 10th spot, 15. Yeah, we go to we actually go to 16, 18. Back to back. Tomorrow in Detroit. If we win, we'll go 9th. We'll overtake Boston. So that just shows you, gentlemen, how close each team is.
Yeah, everybody. Mm-hmm.
You good, Shy? Go ahead.
No, go CT. Go KJ. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to, at this point where we at right now, we at a turning point in the season. That's what I see. It's one game by one game, each game at a time, player by player. I see Kemba Walker at the time. I pulling the guys to the side, bringing teams together. We haven't had that in a long time, and it is good to see that. It's a breath of fresh air from a man that's been sat out for 11 games, and for him you see that doing a national televised game. It's out there and he's doing it. He's showing the leadership that we need on his team. So it seems like these guys are coming together right before our eyes, something that we all thought that this Knicks team could do. I think the coaching staff is starting to give credit and to reward players such as Grimes, to pull him in Grimes and now before Burks or somebody. He's the first man off that bench, something that we need that can play offense and defense, can shoot, knock down three-pointers. So I'm happy that they're finally identifying that aspect. So like I get, it's one game at a time, so we'll see what happens,
Yep, absolutely, man. And Sharp Powers. What was your analysis from tonight?
We ran with a little bit of pace in that first quarter, and we cleaned it up in the fourth quarter. They took us over. I think in the third quarter they went up by 1, but we stayed fast, man, and we came back and we won the game, man. Kudos to Mitchell Robinson, my man. Put some respect on his name. Mitchell Robinson did his thing tonight, and that's what I enjoyed tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's never easy getting a win on the road. Freezing cold Minnesota, but credit to them. KJ, they play hard. Minnesota, they're depleted. Obviously, we caught a break tonight. No Karl Towns, no Anthony Edwards, no Russell, but Patrick Beverley. Malik and a Beasley and that Noel there, Minnesota's Noel. I mean, he's a problem.
Let me tell you, anybody that has a Patrick Beverly on their team, you're going to work for your money that night. He's going to Petsy, he's going to get in your face. And then again, I think Minnesota's one of those teams that has a Knicks number. We haven't beaten over there. We haven't won over there in quite a while. And for us to get that W, and for us to get finally a second win, a back-to-back win since October, which is important. And another fact that Minnesota, for the past 20-something games, they've been averaging over 100 points per game. We hold them to 88 points. So that was another stat. But, also they didn't have Karl-Anthony Towns. They didn't have Anthony Edwards and some of the other pieces. But guess what? We held them to 88 points, which is great on any night in the NBA. I'll take it. And with the way that team was playing, you didn't think that those players were missing because those guys played hard. They just beat Boston last night, and we beat them tonight. So you know what? We can't take any team for granted. I'm just happy that we walked out of there, we get the W, and then we move on to Detroit tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to Mitch tonight. He balled out, kept us in it all night long, owned the glass, sharp hours, and they just had no answer for him. Greg Monroe tried, but the amount of misses he caught, putbacks, he was just on it tonight.
Yeah, really, really inspiring game for Mitch tonight, man. He really played his game tonight, man. I'm happy to see him out there, man. 17 rebounds. He had 10, 12 points, one block, and about 5, 6 other almost blocks. Man, he played real good tonight, man. That's my man.
Yep, absolutely. Shout out to Anna Powell. Salute. Great panel. Great win. Let's get it. KJ, Mitch, he's been gathering steady form, and hopefully this continues to roll.
Let me tell you something. Mitch is going to, if he continues to play like this, guys, we're going to have to change his first name to Shaq Robinson. This is the Mitchell Robinson that the Vines always talks about. Like, if a guy could grab the rebounds, and that's a bonus for Mitch to get 14 and 18 tonight. He led the team in scoring tonight. That's not Mitchell Robinson's game. But 14 and 18, listen, that's great. Now granted you didn't have Karl-Anthony Towns, but you know what? 14 and 18 on any given night is all-star numbers. And like I said, if he could continue stuff like this, guys, I love it at our center position because we haven't had that in such a long time. Just by Mitch scoring points, guys, is a bonus because we don't expect him to put numbers up. So salute to him tonight for that performance.
Yep. And have you guys noticed they're looking for him a lot more? There was a couple really nice down low passes. Fournier found him for one nice dunk at the end, and he's finishing them. He's got pretty decent hands, does Mitch?
All of this on $1.8 million. He is doing work, man, and he represented tonight, man. 14 and 18? Man, come on, man. That's a big game tonight. Without Mitch down there doing what he did tonight, man, we might not have won this game.
It's a fact.
Yep. A demon, 7 of 8 from the field, 32 minutes. His cardio's getting back up. His conditioning, but 6 of those 18 were on the offensive glass. Now, how many of those translated into second chance points? Was the difference tonight? Only an 8-point game.
We beat them in fast. Not fast. Was it turnovers? I think it was turnovers or something like that. We beat them. We turned it over. I think it was 13 times. They turned it over 10, but they only got 9 points, and we got. I'm off a little bit, so I'm gonna say like 18 points off of their turnovers.
Yep, yeah, definitely. And let's also look at RJ Barrett, big in the fourth quarter, fellas. RJ Barrett, I think he scored most of his points. 7 or 8 points all in the last quarter. We don't get this dub, with Barrett, just saying, stuff this, I'm going to take it to the rack. And that's what he did, KJ.
Yeah, absolutely. Another guy coming off a 10-game, 11-game skit. back into the NBA, trying to get his motor back running and catching his breath. He didn't score into the fourth quarter, but his fourth quarter points was very much needed. His 7 points or so he scored, we needed it. We know his shot was going to be off, but he made a couple 3-pointers that we needed. So, again, another guy, a young guy that fits in well with the younger pieces that we have. And I like the fact when he's in the winning game with a Obi Toppin and a Grimes and a quickly. I like that lineup with them four in the game because that is our young core Knicks. This is the next of the next generation that we can see them next 3-5 years to see their maturation, to see how far this team is going to go with those guys and who's going to make it out of that bunch. Could be a potential superstar or a star or all-star or someone that's going to make it to the next level. Can RJ be that guy? And that has to be the question going forward for him, especially next year. His contract, he's playing for another contract. And are we going to pay this man? But then again, tonight was a perfect game for him. He got back in, he did what he had to do, and now it's just going forward now. Get COVID out the way. Let's see what he does tomorrow.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, you made a great point there. The COVID thing, that's no joke. Coming back from that, Shah, that can't be underestimated.
Yeah,
but RJ Barrett's going to bounce back.
Definitely being out for about 5 games. RJ will get better. I'm not sure if RJ practiced with the team after they cleared him or not, but he'll be okay. He played okay tonight, man. He did real good, man. He helped us through that fourth quarter, man.
Yep. Yeah, and Quentin Grimes also, was an impactful player tonight. His defense, that pivotal strip at the very end may have saved a cardiac finish. KJ.
Let me tell you something. Things are changing in New York. Tibbs has changed man in New York City. For him to bring Grimes, the first person off that bench tonight, that's telling me something. That Grimes is doing this thing in practice. He's performing, and he's being consistent as a rookie. These are guys that are ready-made rookies. And what I mean by that is you feel every time he touches the ball, he's going to make the shot. Every time that shot goes up, he's going to make it. We're not going to miss him time. But does his shot look so consistent out there, guys? It's just amazing the things he can do out there is on the floor. Now, granted, all that him creating his own shot, that's going to take some time. But what he possesses out there is something that the Knicks need. He provides that for us. So I'm excited to see his growth every game now.
Yep. Spot on that with that KJ sharp powers. Grimes is an absolute must play. Is invaluable to this team, I think, and he probably should play more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing tonight, and I'm happy to see that Tibbs implemented him real early in the game when RJ got those 2 fouls, and he came in and just played well, man. Every time he shoots the ball, you think that it's going to go in. I ain't going front. Every time he shot, I was jumping and doing all this stuff, but he had some big shots too, man. Little 15 points, man. He played what he did tonight that was really good is he played some great defense, and he was up in everybody's when he switched off and everything like that. He made 1 or 2 little errors tonight, but who didn't? Big ups to Grimes.
Yep. Yeah, before we give out some of these grades to you fellas, were these your most 3 impactful players? Like, who was there anyone else that you feel like, or was these the 3 best impactful players tonight?
I think Emmanuel quickly came in his first game back. He came in, gave us some quality minutes, even though he didn't play a lot. I liked him and Toppin. I like them 2 in a game together. They have a lot of chemistry. They just need more playing time on the court. It's Toppin. Another impactful player that we didn't talk about is Taj Gibson. Taj might not have been great with his numbers tonight as far as, points, but as far as what he does out there on the court to back up Mitchell Robinson is invaluable. And I just think his hard work and dedication helps his team out. It's things that we don't see on that bench that these guys doing in people's faces and things of that nature. So Taj Gibson gets a little kudos tonight from me as well. Those 3.
Yep, Shah.
I concur with you, KJ. Taj played some good ball tonight, man. He's aggressive. He's grabbing rebounds. He's getting offensive rebounds. Let's look. He only had 7 points, but those are big 7 points when Mitch was sitting down. And so Taj really played some. I'm with you right there with Taj, man. Taj played some ball tonight, man. I'm always happy to see a veteran in there and doing some veteran things, man. Strong hands and ain't scared of nothing.
Right.
Yeah, he was juiced tonight for the homecoming, or not homecoming, but yeah, return in Minnesota along with Tibbs. You know, they both really wanted this one, and he laid it all out there. You know, ever reliable Taj. You know, begs the question. You know, he's most likely going to finish this season with us, and then maybe in the off season, get converted to a player coach or something, or an assistant coach. But let's give out some grades, before we touch on the others. For me, Mitchell Robinson, I mean, without him, we don't win this game. Got to give him an A today.
Yeah, I'm going with an A+ for Mitchell Robinson. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, 1000% CT. Without Mitchell Robinson's presence, 14 to 18, A+ for me.
Yeah, I concur. I'm right there with you. I'm a homer for Mitch, so I'm gonna give him a A++ just because Mitch did this thing tonight. 18 rebounds, career high for the season and stuff like that. 6 offensive boards, man. Come on, and it only shows in the stats that he had one block, but he altered about 6 or 7 other shots out there tonight. Plus, he had 2 steals. Did he have 2 steals and 2 assists, or what was it, Mitch? He had 2 steals and 2 steals. What else did he have? Yeah, so he had 2 steals also, real big down there.
Yeah, and a block. Yep.
And a block,
2
yeah.
steals, block. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 18 rebounds was his career high, just like you said. 17 was his previous, and he definitely overtook that. Certainly helped without Cat tonight, but like you said, we'll take it. You can only beat up on who you play, and all round A's for us tonight for Mitch, and RJ Barrett. He was slumping obviously in the first 3 quarters, but came up pretty big in the fourth as well. To me, that earns him a B- for tonight, KJ.
Yeah, I'm going RJC tonight. Like I said, obviously, if he would have scored in the first 3 quarters a little bit more points, score wouldn't have been that much, So I give him a C tonight. Now, we know that RJ could put buckets up, but again, first game, pretty much back in the lineup, I give him a C. Second game back, I'm sorry.
Yep. Yeah, Shah, RJ Barrett tonight.
I'm definitely gonna go right in between both y'all, like a B-. The beginning of the game, he got into a quick foul trouble. He got back in the game. He played some decent defense, a couple of rebounds. But that fourth quarter, he opened up when we really needed him and came out of there, hit that big 3, hit that drive to the hole, made 8 points. Yeah, he got a B-.
Yep. Yeah, that was key. And I would have given something closer to what KJ did, but just to shake that off and give us a lot of production in the last quarter. That definitely helped us because our offense was slumping. Tonight, no joke. It was slumping. We needed something, and he stepped up. And the other guy, QG, Quentin Grimes, played 31 minutes. So you love to see that experience, just being out there for that long. Obviously, he didn't shoot that well, but he's not hesitating, which is what you love to see. To KJ's point, his form is beautiful. Allen Houston-esque was still a plus. We know he's 3-and-D. He's just getting his feet wet. This is just the beginning for what we're seeing for Quentin Grimes. He's just going to get from strength to strength. And I'll give Quentin Grimes a C+ tonight.
Yeah, I'm going Quentin. I'm giving him a B. And here's why. He's just a threat out there. A lot of teams are scouting him, trying to see what he does. What he does best, he catches the ball and he shoots right away. Now, guess what? Once he adds more to his arsenal, catch the ball, step back, shoot, fade away, pass the ball to the side, he's going to be unstoppable, brother, especially when he's handling and playing both back and forth. So for me, as a rookie, as a made ready, we don't have too many rookies that are made and ready to go. This guy is made and ready to go right away. And I just appreciate what he does on the court for us. So I'm giving him a B.
Yep, facts. And while we're on Quentin Grimes, what's your long-term projection for him? I'll start with Sharp Powers. Do you see him, forcing his way into the starting lineup? longer term, or do you just think they'll rock with Fournier for a bit more, and then they'll sort of look at it, if his play dictates it?
I definitely think he's going to get some time. I'm not sure if he's going to take Fournier's spot yet, but if he keep doing what he's doing and playing a little better defense than what Fournier's doing and stuff like that, I don't have no reason not to say to put him in there and put Fournier on the bench. He played good defense tonight, man, and he made some big buckets tonight also. So if I was to rate him, I will give him. You said B. I'm gonna give him a C plus. I put him like right in between both of y'all.
Yep, and KJ, Grimes is long-term fit. Do you just maybe see him coming off the bench still, but maybe closing out the games more than Fournier?
Right, and that's a great question, CT, because we've seen that happen tonight. We've seen Tibbs go to him in the fourth quarter without Fournier, and then he had to bring Fournier in. So I think as the season goes along and for what we need him for, this man can play defense and offense and get knocked down. So obviously the business side, we're paying this guy. But you know what? The basketball side is, which we're winning, and who's ever out there performing winning, I wouldn't mind him starting in that starting line because he possesses so much something for we also need. With the way the first unit is playing now, guys, they're playing a lot better than they were in the beginning of the season. You implement this young man into the lineup, he puts a little bit more speed out there on your defense and can shoot. So why not? I mean, either or, we're fine right now. But to answer your question, CT, absolutely, I can see him starting long term.
Fellas in chat, I think if you look at where we're at in the schedule, maybe only 10, 15 more games, the trade deadline, they might use this chance to see, is he ready? And that might predicate, an Evan Fournier deal. Because if he really starts to look ready, maybe that helps them, entertain a Fournier move a lot more.
Oh, if he keeps coming in and hitting some shots, get his percentage up a little bit and start and playing that defense like he plays, man. I mean, that would be a great option to do if he comes in and we could get I don't want to say get rid of, but move on from Fournier. He could definitely come in there and fill in that role easily. I really think in the next couple of years, how they situate this front court, it may be something like a McBride and a Grimes starting with RJ on the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And he's a bona fide first round talent,
Yeah, right. CT, you frozen up. Yeah, CT, you still freezing up. But I agree. I think you were saying he's definitely a bona fide first round talent. And I definitely agree with you. And these guys, Tibbs handpicked these guys to come to New York City. But CT, you good to go now, I think.
Yeah, keep spitting.
Okay, yeah, but Tibbs picked these guys to come here. And you're seeing the reason why that he picked these guys to come here. Like the Bob Huggins, look at the coaches these guys are. Devon touched on this earlier. The coaching staff that he has, guys, the guys, the pedigree that these guys fit. And to your point, I didn't even mention McBride because he didn't play tonight. But what's going to happen when McBride comes back? So CT, to your other point, as far as the trading, it could be a possible deal for Fournier because now you got two guys in McBride and Grimes that provide a lot of things. They're not, for one, the most important thing, they're not getting as much money as them guys are getting.
Mm-hmm.
And the greatest point is they're both providing more services than the guy you paid $74 million to. So it's and then if we can get something for Fournier along with some other pieces, why not?
Exactly. I just think Fournier's contract, and I'm not trying to hate on Fournier, there's going to be nights his veteran, savvy and shooting and experience looks way more valuable than Quentin Grimes. They're going to have rookie nights. But a long story short, Fournier's contract is something, if you have the opportunity to get out of that now, do it now, get out of it. I think, if there's a move there, not that I'm hating on Fournier again, but the $19 million, if those other dudes, to KJ's point, are giving you similar production, then why not,
Yeah, that's definitely the thing that I'm looking at. I mean, especially after how we played the game before he had COVID and now the game that he played today. I mean, Fournier, Fournier in trouble right now, man. Fournier in trouble. You see what happens. I mean, you see already that Tibbs is ready to put him in. He implemented him today early, and when we put him in, he held us down. So kudos to Grimes, man. Let's see what happens, man. I like I said, I think he's going to be him and McBride going to be our starting point guard and shooting guard in some years to come.
Yep, they are the future, definitely. And shout out to the chat as well. John, still Knicks fans, check that out. Salute, John. Appreciate you. Anna Powell, of course, supporting the fam. Geraldine, KJ Events, like and subscribe to that channel. Divine, Knicks Real Talk. Divine's on his grind. Did the great pre-game show tonight. Divine will be on post-game tomorrow. Of course, this is a back-to-back as well. So these games are coming thick and fast. But most importantly, we got the dub tonight. Nick Nation, 2 in a row finally for the first time since October. Can you believe it? And we're carrying... Did you guys feel after the Christmas Day game that something just clicked? Like, that could have been a game that catapults us now to a streak. Did you get that feeling on Christmas Day?
Absolutely. And it started with Kemba Walker, man. You're starting to see this guy be the leader that we know he could be. Kemba did some great things tonight, even though he didn't score a lot. But what he's providing out there as far as from that point guard position to make his teammates better, to pick his teammates up when they're down, is something that Julius hasn't had. And in normal times in a game like that, without no Kemba Walker, Julius Randle will be bringing the ball up, making some turnovers and some mistakes. But this is how valuable a true point guard is. And Kemba displayed that tonight. Now, he might not have the performance he's been having, but with 10 points and to make the team better, I would take that all day.
Yep. Sharp hours as well. Kemba Walker's sort of, energy coming back into the unit changed things, for the last few games, but certainly Christmas Day. And I think that locker room does seem a lot more tighter.
Yes, you can see them out there. He was out there rallying the troops on the court and stuff like that. He had a little trouble with the zone that they put out on him tonight and stuff, but he still did what he had to do to help us get a victory tonight. Tonight was a good night for him not to be the man. Tonight was a good night for him to play some basketball, and the other guys stepped up for him. So the next game, I hopefully when we play Detroit tomorrow, I think he'll come back to some of that accelerated scoring tomorrow. Yeah,
and John makes a great point. We're definitely going to eat, I think, the next few games, but we still are a 500 team or below overall, and I still am waiting for a move to be made, fellas, because we can beat up on lowly teams, but I'm not letting this couple of wins cloud my opinion on the team, right? We still need to make some improvements, but we can also make improvements from within and giving these young fellas some D. Play these young fellas, like KJ said, play some D and at least help us get back to last year's identity, because our offense isn't really that much better, right? At all, maybe not even better at all. So let's just go back and try and rekindle last year's identity, KJ, and play Deuce and Grimes a lot more.
Right, and to that point, so for the Kemba thing, right? Kemba sat out a lot of games, and his legs, to me, felt better. So with Deuce coming back now, who's back tonight, he didn't play, but that's been their protocol. Once you come back, you sit that one game out. So we know Deuce is going to play tomorrow. And now Quickly's back. So it's a log jam, but it's a great log jam because D Rose is out. And now you can give Kemba a little bit more rest because you have McBride, Quickly, and Grimes now, and RJ. You have young, fresh legs out there. Let these young guys come on in. And like I said, to me, Tibbs is going to have they have to figure out this point guard is guard rotation when McBride is back now, because McBride provides everything that we want, like Grimes. Let's not forget, guys, he had 15 points and 9 assists his last game before he went out on COVID restriction. So I want to see some of that again out there on that court. You know, and it's like, you know, what are we gonna do? So it's like, does Tibbs play the guy that's hot? Does he play the young guys? Gonna be all over the place. But tomorrow, I think he gets a lot of playing time because it's a back-to-back. Let's rest Kemba a little bit more tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Sharp Powers, you know, a la Wise, salute to you, raises a great question. Tomorrow, let's see. Kemba Walker, his minutes, you know, he's been on a tear, but I think that's partly due to having 9 games off and those knees getting rested. So those knees are going to get put to the test tomorrow, Shah.
Yeah, salute Allah Wise. That it was a great question because I think he will play, but I don't think he'll have heavy minutes tomorrow. I think with Deuce coming back tomorrow, he may he may lessen the load on Kemba a little bit, give him a little rest. Let Kemba come out there and get a spark plug going, and hopefully Deuce can come in and follow him up perfectly. You know, so I don't think he'd be getting the same amount of minutes, but we'll see what happens.
Right.
Yeah, and I think Deuce obviously easing back after the COVID protocol too. But I think, to answer his question, I think IQ or Burks might take on more of the load if Kemba's out. Part of me, I think Kemba will play. I think he's going to try to show some grit and say, hey, I'm thankful for being, back in the fold, back in this opportunity again, and let me go out there. But I think his minutes will be reduced, He'll probably only play 18 to 22 minutes. And I think that's a smart decision. Detroit, they're absolutely, depleted right now or struggling, right? We shouldn't need Kemba Walker, let's face it, KJ, to beat Detroit tomorrow.
Right. And again, it's another one of those games like tonight. I call it a trap game. They don't have their players and we should beat them. So my thing is, I say we sit Randle tomorrow. Randle looks a little tired, looks a little hurt tomorrow. And I think this would be a great game just to sit him because I think we could get Toppin some more playing time out there. We're quick. I think we have enough pieces to beat them tomorrow without Randle. So I'm looking for that sit down tomorrow if it happens. If not, knowing Randle, he'll still play. But to answer your question, CT, I think we should have no problem beating those guys tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah, great point. And even Knox. Is Knox back from protocol? I didn't see any notice.
He was on the bench today, though.
Okay.
He was on the bench sitting down.
Yep. Perfect. Then, even Knox time. He plays well against Detroit normally. Yeah. Throw him a bone. Give him 10 to 12 minutes. Let him showcase himself. Because remember, we're coming up to the trade period, right? We don't want to lose Kevin Knox for nothing. Now, I'm all for keeping Kevin Knox next year. I'm not trying to throw him away. If he wants to come back on a minimum deal, let's do it. But I think he's going to want to find a new home, right? The last couple of years here must have been somewhat of a torture, and he's probably going to want to, rekindle, his career somewhere else. But to that point, you don't want to lose Knox for nothing. I think he's probably 50-50 trade bound. Why not play him a little bit?
Yeah, get his stock up a little bit. Things will happen, and we'll see what happens. Tomorrow will be a great game for him to come in, and I'm with you on that one, KJ. We can either lessen Randle's load tomorrow or sit him down and let him rest up. You know what I mean? And see what happens with these young boys coming out here because Detroit is a young team, and they're not. We'll see what happens when they get out there and stuff. I mean, messing with Tibbs, man, you're probably gonna see Randle tomorrow. You're probably gonna see Kemba tomorrow. Probably gonna see Fournier tomorrow. So it is what it is. But I hope what he does is he gets them out there and we take off like we did this first quarter that we played today, and try to implement them young guys in there to see if they can sustain the lead to the end of the game.
Yep, facts. Good point about about tomorrow getting up, and let's just get them in the game, get them out of the game quick, and then clear the bench. Hopefully, but like KJ says, you can't take any team lightly. It's a trap game somewhat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all know, we've lived our lesson this season against Orlando, Cleveland. I mean, we should put the beat down on them, but again, you take them lightly. There's young fellas are going to hustle. That Isaiah Stewart hustles, the one that got chippy with LeBron.
Yep.
and they're sick of losing. You know, you play a team that's lost, I don't know how many in a row have they lost. Let me pull up the standings. They're Pistons. Oh, they've lost 3 in a row. So yeah, but you know they're 5 of 27. So they're playing at home. They're going to want to make a statement, you know, on a back-to-back.
Right.
And KJ, you mentioned Randle. Let's touch on him now. Yeah, I completely agree with you tonight. He looked so lethargic. That turnover, it was just laziness. He's good for his 4 turnovers again tonight. You know, averages his 4 turnovers, 13 points. Was hitting the J early. Yeah, he looked really sharp early on, but then he just got into a funk. Again, you know, 38 minutes. Would have liked to see, you know, that him play a little bit less than that. He struggled somewhat, offensively. The flow, again, was disruptive at times. He's just a hard player to play with, for a consistent 4 quarters. He's in a role, I've been consistent with saying this, fellas, he's in a role that he's not meant to be in. You know, he's not a number one, but he's our number one right now, and we've got to live with that. But, tonight, wasn't his best night, Julius. So I'm going to give him a C. I'll give him a C.
Right. I'm going to go with a B+ because of the 15 rebounds, 13 and 50, another double-double. We know that Julius Randle is a walking double-double. 13 and 15, a lot of players not doing that in the NBA. I'll give him that. But, again, for me, it's with Julius, to me, he still is pushing. He's still rushing shots. He's taking things. He shouldn't be doing certain things out there when you have the personnel. 1 for 5 from 3-point and pass it to somebody else, man. Just take it inside. That's all we need him to do right now. To me, he's pushing it so much, and he just needs to sit down for a day. Again, like we said, we play Detroit tomorrow. We play Friday. We play against OKC, and then the big game is Sunday against Toronto. I'd rather him be ready for Toronto. So that's just my thinking. But again, we all know Tibbs. Well, we don't know him, but we know what he likes to do. Yeah. No days off, and these guys gonna put ice on like Patrick Ewing back, and they put the ice on your knees, put the ice, take an ice bath. Them guys got trainer. Them guys will be out there, but for what we like to see as a Knicks fan, we wanted to see the man sit down for a minute. But let's see what happens, guys.
Absolutely, you get a fit, rested Randle. I guarantee everybody listening to this, you'll see a different player. But last season was a load on Julius Randle. Record minutes. Started his off season really early. Was in the gym in the summer, trying to get right. It reflected in an all NBA season. He has a second child. His wife has a second child just before the season. That takes its toll. Not making excuses, but I think there's small contributing factors, not just Julius himself, as to why he struggled this season. And fit's a big thing too. He's learning to play off Kemba still. Julius Randle, sharp hours. What did you give him tonight?
Yeah, I mean, rough game. He didn't score, come out the box, and blow the score box open. But what he did do is he did what he usually does. He get those rebounds, and he got out there and he rebounded tonight. I got to give him kudos and give him a B because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the last 2 games he's been in the plus. So just for him being in the plus, it's only by 2, but he's in the plus, and those 15 rebounds, it was major.
Yeah, great call. Good call. Yeah, +2. Did reflect winning tonight. It just didn't look pretty at times. But
yeah, it didn't.
Yeah. And what KJ said, I resonate completely about the Toronto thing. When you got OG Anunoby, that gave him fits last time. Rest him up for that matchup. Don't need him against Detroit. Don't need him against OKC. They play a different type of ball anyway. They got Poku and out there, their power forward spot that's going to pull Julius out. So salute to the chat. South Guna, Canal. Got John from Still Knicks. A-la Wise up in here with his wise comments and knowledge. Anna Powell, Geraldine. Salute to everyone listening. Got Sharp Hours and KJ Dub Events. Divine might call in later in the show, but he's back on tomorrow night. Knicks Real Talk post-game. We're double back-to-back tonight. We're tag teaming it. And, man, we're just chopping this up. It feels good to win 2 in a row. I'm not going to lie, fellas. As ugly as it was. But that's how you get back to rescuing the season, right? I'll take any win we can until moves are made. Like the chat's point, this isn't the roster that's going to finish the season. So I really don't care if the wins are ugly or they're pretty. Let's just get back to 500, see where the young fellas are situated, and then let's get back to retooling. I think retooling the roster. There's some vets that are going to get some interest, and we'll talk to that later in the show. But let's give our grades for Kemba Walker tonight again. He's been on a tear recently. Tonight was somewhat more of a comeback down to earth, but we're still somewhat effective. In his 33 minutes, he's playing more minutes than what he probably should, fellas. Struggled for the shooting from the field, but was 3 of 7 from 3, a couple of deep ones that helped us. 10 points was a -3. I'll give Kemba Walker a C tonight. Shah.
I definitely could be right along there with you. I could give him definitely a C tonight. He did come out there and he tried to play ball. He had a hard time with that zone tonight, and I noticed that that zone when usually when they play the man to man and Julius sets the screen, he comes off the screen and it's easier for him to shoot the shot. But with that zone tonight, with those two big guys out there, taller than Kemba, he looks like he had a little problems tonight. But he stayed diligent, and I like what he did tonight when he pulled everybody together before on that timeout, and he said something to all of them, and all of them looked like they were listening to him, like EF Hutton. Yep. So I'm definitely down with that, and I give Kemba about a C. I give him a solid C.
Yep. Yeah. So you agree, KJ Dub, Kemba Walker, his form tonight.
Yeah, I'm going with a C2 as well, guys. Like I said, most of his stats didn't show up tonight. Subpar game, but you know what? He's that guard that we need to pull it away from Julius when we needed him, especially in that fourth quarter when he got the ball back on that offensive rebound and pulled the ball back out and ran the play. That's what we need. We need a guard that can do that, can take it away from Julius. And he showed that he made his teammates better on that one particular play. But again, like I said, this guy, another thing with him, we know he's better with rest. What's scaring me a little bit is the minutes he's playing, and it's his production. Yep. Where's his production going to be at? And then I don't want to go back to the same thing we were saying in the beginning of the year, like, oh, what happened to that Kemba? This is why McBride and some of these other guys are going to be very helpful to him. And I just think Tibbs is doing a little bit better job of subbing him in and out. When he has it, he has. If you stay in, you have it. But if you don't have it, pull him out, bring somebody else in, and sit yourself down for a little bit. So I'm giving him a C tonight.
Yep. Both you gentlemen spot on. I think Kemba's minutes will come back down to earth a bit. I think what we're seeing is just a product of him having the 9 games off, and he's juiced up, he's revved up, he's ready to roll, locked and loaded. But like you said, once these games keep coming thick and fast, I think it's going to catch up to him again. And like you said, KJ, it's very important. Deuce, gives us a change of pace, and Tibbs acknowledges that. Because those knee problems, they're not just going to go away overnight, right? It's a debilitating injury he has that's going to stay the rest of his career. It just needs to be managed correctly. And to the wise chat's point, John still Knicks, the zone was giving us trouble before they went zone. Kemba was having a great game, was lighting it up. But then they switched it up. They hit the zone, and then that slowed him down.
Yeah, it definitely slowed him down and stuff. He stopped doing the pick and roll with Julius Randle, the pick and pop with Mitchell Randle, and they played up on him and stuff like that. So next game we might not see a zone and stuff like that, and this way he can implement a little bit more of his skills that he got, man. Like I said, he played for being such so high last week, being the player of the week, to come and play tonight. He still played a good game tonight. He wasn't a negative, but very low in the negative, and he played some good ball tonight.
Right. Yeah. He's going to be still very impactful, gentlemen in chat. I think Kemba Walker is here to stay still. What do you guys think on that, potential trade, talk earlier I think with D Rose being out and probably won't be back till after the deadline, I think that sealed that Kemba Walker will probably stay a Knick this season, KJ.
Yeah, and we actually touched on this earlier. If a deal is there with Kemba, do we trade him away? And for me, it has to be for someone of some type of significance because his stock is up right now. That's all for his stock is up real high.
Exactly.
But my thing is, how long can Kemba stay Kemba Walker, in these games? And it's like, can he stay or not? So to that point, if it is something there for him, I would trade him. I would trade him, but it has to be for a guard that can do what he's doing, So I would.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, real talk. Me too. I agree wholeheartedly, Sharp. If there's a deal there, of course you entertain it, and of course, there's every chance that there's a bigger deal on the table in terms of a big blockbuster or a package or a three-way deal, and one team says, "Hey, we want Kemba. Let's throw him in." And in that case, I'd do it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I like Kemba. I like the storyline that's going along with Kemba back here in New York, playing with the New York Knicks and stuff like that. But like you say, KJ, when you strike the iron when it's hot. If he's hot right now, man, and if we can put him in a package or something like that, I don't just want to give him away. The one thing I would like for him to I don't even know how to say this, but if we could lessen his minutes and give Deuce a little bit more minutes, I think he'll be real ramped up for if we make it into a playoff or a play-in to really amplify the game. I think he'll come out and he'll be on fire, But the reason why he would be on fire is if Deuce comes in and lessens his minutes now. Get him down to like 22, 24 minutes and stuff like that. Let him come in and be a spark plug and stuff like that. And then go to Grimes to like maybe end the game or put some defense on somebody when we trying to make a push or we ahead. So if we can lessen his minutes, I think Kemba might be here for this year. He's not a long-term solution, but like I said, if something comes up, and he could be part of a package, or we could get somebody with a pick or something like that, or I'm all right, Kemba, see ya.
Yeah. What I would do, I think this team still needs another point guard, like a vet point guard. I think they're going to look for. If you look at D Rose, 33 years old, coming off ankle surgery, we just don't know what that's going to look like. When he comes back, all praise to D Rose and his recovery, but you can't be trying to make moves and try to get somewhere this season. You can't take that chance, KJ, Chat, and Shah. You can't just rely on D Rose and a Kemba. I think if the package is there for Kemba, move him on. But I think this team's aim will be try to get a point guard, another point guard, a vet, in this trade period.
Absolutely, and like I said, we have to be thinking playoffs. We seen what happened last year in the playoffs. Again, it's like if we got these guys are playing well right now, but for the long term, and we make the playoffs, who's going to lead us in that playoff when they slow everything down? Everything's a half-court game in the playoffs. We can't rely on McBride and Grimes because, for one, they haven't seen what a playoff NBA game is like. Everything is different. Even though we've seen a sample size of what these guys can do right now, we love it. But we all know the game is way different in the playoffs. So it's like, who is that point guard? Who is that veteran point guard? Is it a John Wall? Who is it? Who can we get right now? But like I said, I'm going to leave it to Leon Rose in World Wide West because these guys have shown us that they can bring in personnel. But now it's just matching the pieces together, what they're going to do.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, John Stillnick says he agrees. We need to look for anyone shopping a point guard. Yeah, that would help us get younger and more versatile. Yeah, definitely. And look, I know Deuce McBride, people might be saying, oh, what about him? I haven't forgotten about him at all. I want him to get all the burn possible. But again, he's still unproven, right? You can't, like KJ said, you can't just have playoff hopes and just be putting all your eggs in his basket. he might need some more time to develop. Now, I'm not looking for no, bona fide starting point guard blockbuster. If that doesn't happen, then just get us a vet, get us some steady vet that can take the reins if there's an injury, to Kemba or D Rose as well. I know IQ's still out there as well. So yeah, let's see. It's going to be real interesting, fellas. The season's really feels like it's just getting started. We went through a few bumps in the road, KJ, like our roller coaster. And right now it's just sort of, it's picking up steam, momentum, right? Heading into the trade period, we could be back over 500 and, things are really going to start popping. But let's touch on the bench guys now. Well, actually, we didn't touch on Fournier tonight. So 25 minutes, reduced minutes tonight for Fournier. 5 of 14 from the field, but shot well from 3. 13 points, was also on -3. Again, we need Fournier to be solid and be in the positive if he's starting. He's been more inconsistent than not this season. And that's why I think, he's a top trade candidate, guys. And I think tonight I'll give Fournier a C again.
I'm right there with you, T. Oh, go ahead, Sha. I'm sorry.
No, I ain't nothing major. I'm with you too. I'm right there with you on a C with Fournier also. He comes out and he does what he needs to do. His defense is suspect sometimes. He plays pretty okay defense, but sometimes he does this thing with it. I don't know if it's just me, if y'all pay attention. When he does a move, when he's playing defense and the man's getting ready to get around him, he does a thing with his hands and his legs. So he's not great on when a man makes the move to the hole. I'm telling you, watch it, man. He does this thing with his hands and his legs, and but Fournier could be up in the trade too. It's something's gonna happen soon. Fournier tonight, yeah, like I said, see, he played okay.
Yep. Right. Yeah, we're giving out a lot of C's tonight. A-la Wise is on the train where, if we don't get a star point guard, let Deuce, continue to marinate as well. And, Canal says we have Walker as the starter, Deuce as the backup. Yeah, I'm okay with that too. It's slightly risky, I think, just, if we are looking like we're going to make the playoffs. But if Walker can stay healthy and he's still on the roster, then, let's hope he continues to give us, what he did recently as well. A-la Wise, also another good point. We notice Fournier doesn't jump for rebounds. He's the reach master. He's just not an effort player, right? He's finesse. I think Evan Fournier's game, it looked pretty before he was a Knick. He was always that finesse guy lighting us up. But now we're really seeing, I want to talk to some Orlando fans and some Boston fans and just bond over Evan Fournier frustration.
ACT, I'm laughing at some of the comments in the chat because I wanted to say is like Evan Fournier is one of them guys you go to the park and be like, all right, nah. Next thing you know, he got like 25, 30 points on you. So I'm trying to figure his game out because at times, Evan Fournier, like the first game of the season with Boston, I said, man, my man was the second coming to Shuttlesworth. You know what I mean? My man was hitting shots, taking to the even tonight, he takes it to the hole. He has a funny game. But when he's on, he's on. So it's like, but I know what it is for us Knicks fans. It's the money we paid him. And then seeing the production, it's like, man, we paid this guy $19 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's all be honest, guys. If we wasn't paying this man this much money, people like, all right, it is what it is. But 19 million, right.
On that point, Burks is as inconsistent as Fournier is. And he's on 10 million, so we don't get on him.
That's a fact.
If Evan was making 10 mil, it'd be like super tradable. It'd be like, hey, you could trade that for a second round pick attached.
Right.
Like you said, it's because we didn't really sign anyone else big that Evan Fournier came with the expectation. Outside of Kemba, it was just those two, the same team as last year, basically, minus the rookies. And Evan Fournier, he can light it up, but I think he's still struggling. He's never played with a team with this many options. I think he's always sort of been the second guy on a team, on a bad Orlando or on Boston for a cup of coffee. He was only on Boston for like 15 games. So I think he's never played with a team with options like RJ Barrett, Randle, and Kemba. And I think he looks confused at times. Like, is he going to pass? Is he going to shoot? I think he's still trying to figure things out, believe it or not.
Yeah, I'm right there with you and stuff. I remember times when Fournier used to come down and light us up, man. And I like Fournier. I like Fournier game because he when he does it, he comes off that screen and he shoot, and he's a pretty good 3-point shooter when he comes off that screen. This year, we had him some games, and some games wasn't as great, but if we could move Fournier, I'm not mad at moving Fournier. I'm not mad at really moving anybody. I mean, I wouldn't like some moves we would make, but for we could package up Fournier and put somebody else with him and maybe move. I mean, I think he's playing okay this year. I think teams may be a little nervous about taking on that 54/70-something million contract. You know what I mean? So, I'm more on the lines of maybe he might be here at least this 1 year. But if we could put him into something, and somebody might want him to put it in a 3-team deal and move him and move somebody else to move this person. I mean, I'm all with it.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking after you just said that? I think his $19 million is critical in a blockbuster deal, because if Leon's trying to bring back a star, you can't make that trade without Evans' $19 million.
Facts.
So he might be a chip that we have to hold on to until that trade is available, because otherwise we're going to have to give up 5 or 6 players to make up salary.
Good point. Great point, CT. And I was going to say something to that, CT. Or the other thing is we make the playoffs and Evan Fournier shows out in the playoffs.
Would not be surprised.
It can happen, and I hope it does for our sake, but it's still a good bargaining chip to have going into next year. So if he does perform well, so it's a give or take right now with this team. Like, do I think they're a better team than last year? I do. I really do. And just from as far as the 3-point shooting, I think we have a lot more consistent guys that can make a three. We don't know if it's going to go in or not, but I would take my bets on them any day out there playing anybody. But I know when this team is hitting 3-pointers, we can't be stopped at all. And I would take it on any given night that we have against anybody. Anybody can get hot on this team. And that's why the production of some players as far as points and minutes are going to go down when other people are performing well. And we've seen some of it tonight. Look at Obi shot, 3-point shot. It was flowing tonight. Look good in that corner tonight, quickly. Deuce, grind. Like, we got so many players that can shoot the 3 ball. Mm-hmm. So it's a give or take with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure, like what KJ said about Fournier's big game mentality. He gets up for a big game. It's every other game. That opening night, I thought, man, we're onto something. That you guys were there in the building. You were probably ready to buy a Fournier jersey at the concession stand.
I definitely was on Fournier, man, when they made him. I mean, it wasn't the first, second, or third choice that I thought we could have probably went out there and got. But when they said Evan Fournier, I was like, okay, I like Evan Fournier, man. He can shoot the ball, man. He's not that great on defense, but he can shoot the ball. I know he can shoot the ball, and his average scoring last couple of years has been about 19. So I figured if he could come in here and do anything similar to what he was doing the last couple of years, I mean, we have a chance. Now, he coming in here some nights he's on fire. And then some nights he's just average, you know what I mean? So, I mean, he, like you said, KJ, he get into the playoffs and he might be the 25-point man every game we play. So, he's one of those streaky like guys, man. He's up for the big moments. So,
right.
Yeah. And you guys know what I've been saying for a while. If we keep Fournier, I think him off the bench would work really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the $19 million again. We keep going back to that, which is why they will never do it. But if he was on $10 million, him coming off the bench, eating against bench dudes, he'd be like a 6-man type candidate. I believe his fit would be great, and Grimes into the starting unit, who doesn't really need the ball too much.
Right. And to that point, CT, I think it's working towards that. Like I said, again tonight, Grimes was the first man off that bench in for Barrett because he had 2 fouls, and he didn't bring Burks in. Normally, that's a Burke move to come on
Facts.
in. So now it's like, okay, some things are changing around. Some minds are thinking, okay, bring this young guy in. He could do 2 things that these other guys not doing. So it's who's ever the hot man in has to stay in. Keep that man in because they're providing a service to make us win. We're not going down by 15, 20 points in the first quarter, first half. We down. We at halftime was 44-41. We're down by 3 points. A game like that, normally, we're down by like 10 points at the half. We have to fight our way back. But now that we're not having to fight our back against subpar teams, okay, guess what? It's a great litmus test for us right now. And we're passing the litmus test. So now, tomorrow, what are we going to do tomorrow, guys? Let's go down here and do the same exact thing, get 3 in a row. So what? It's Detroit. So what? I don't care who they play. A win is a W. And all these wins right now, fellas, they count. Because we're going to need them in the Eastern Conference right now.
You know what? What does winning make you feel, Shah and KJ?
I mean, the win is you never want to lose again. You know what I mean? You start winning, you start gelling, you start feeling happy for everybody else who's on the team. You see everybody else happy. You see everybody else, with that camaraderie. They get together and they want to work to keep that winning streak going. And I think right now, on this 2-game, it's still early and stuff like that. It's only 2 games, but I think we can have, another 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean? Before we go down to the Raptors over in Toronto, and do some damage, man.
Right.
Yeah, exactly right. You just stack up the dubs and you start to feel good. Right. You start to feel better. Winning cures all. Like Divine always says. Winning cures all, and doesn't matter who you play. The season, 82 games, has stretches, has difficult stretches where you can get on a roll. Let's just do that. And let's hit back the box score and give some bench their flowers. Obi was a bit rough in 11, only getting 11 minutes. Again, with Randle playing 38. I think Obi had some nice moves. That one under the bucket was nice. And another thing, no one gets off tonight from the free throws, fellas. We left a lot of free throws at the line tonight, which was...
Yeah, it would have made it a whole different game if we'd have had half of the ones we missed.
Yep. And Obi with his 7 points was still a plus. Had 2 turnovers though, 3 assists, which was nice to see. 1 offensive rebound as well. I'm going to give Obi. It's tough, in 11 minutes, but Obi gets a C tonight. Actually, no. Let me give him a C plus.
Okay, all right.
Yep, C plus for me.
Yeah, I think Obi played a good game tonight, man. He came back. He did some things. He hit a 3-pointer tonight. You know what I mean? He's 100% from 3 tonight. So I can't knock him down. +6. He comes in and he gives us energy. And I think hopefully, he does one move that Tibbs hates that he can't get away with. And sometimes he starts to make his move before he dribbles, and he's been called for that a couple of times this year. So I mean, he fixes that a little bit like that, and get on Tibbs' good side, and he could get from 11 points to 18 points and give Julius 30 minutes. I mean, that's where we need him to be. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, and I'm giving Obi a B. Okay. 11 minutes, 7 points. I mean, the man needs more time out there on the floor for production, and you give Obi a good 15, 20 minutes, that 11 points, that's 7 points in 11 minutes, that turns into like 15 for him. He needs more time. And again, Obi Toppin is another spark plug on this team. But he's a hybrid spark plug, almost like a junkyard dog hybrid. Mm-hmm. A guy that, imagine a junkyard dog now that could jump high and score. Junkyard dog is known for the rebound and scoring, but this man flies up and down that court, could jump with the best of them in the league. So my thing is, I think Tibbs he's figuring out, like, how do I get Obi more time? But Julius Randle was clogging the time up for him. but they have to figure that out somehow. But more production for him is better. So I'm giving him a B tonight just on the production he had in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and we're grading the players in their role too. You can only play your role in 11 minutes, which is a good point. And I try to grade players in the role that they are in. Yes, he didn't change the game, but yeah, that's a very fair grade. Most of the time, Obi comes in and he does what's needed in that period of time. But I think this is only going to hold him in better stead. This leash he's on, and this minutes restriction he's got, is just going to make him learn the ropes. When he does eventually become a starter and has starting minutes on us or another team or whatever he ends up doing, I think the way he's being coached up is going to help him. Many people say, or might argue, it's not right. He should play more. But KJ, you're heavily involved in the grassroots, game. What do you think to sort of the slow increments that he's getting and learning this way versus just throwing a player out there?
It's rough, man. It's a little rough because he has no time to get going. It's like this. Once you get going, coach, you sitting right next to me on the bench. It's like, but I'm producing for you. Like, he's still young, so it's like, man, like we want to see more, and it's almost very scary. Second year right now, other teams are just waiting. They're waiting, like, all right, Obi, come get this money over here. What is New York going to do? So we have a lot of decisions to make, but this guy needs more time out there on the floor, guys. Even I know Devon talks about putting him at the 3 sometime. Maybe we got to put him there just to put him there to see what he can do, because he's that much productive out there on the floor. Again, tonight, 11 minutes and 7 points, guys. Man, he needs more time out there. You can't learn on a bench, guys. That's for anything.
Yeah, but Allah Wise is a great point as well. Tibbs loves the defense. That keeps you on the floor, KJ. It's not you could be doing anything on offense, but what's going to get Obi more minutes in Tibbs's eyes, I think, is if his defense and his lapses reduce.
Yeah, that's very true too, but he's doing something that's not showing up on the box score. It's the hustle for me.
Yeah.
It's the going after every ball, going after every rebound. The defense will get there, but like it's a Tibbs defense. So think about it. Who else is playing good defense on the team? Julius wasn't known for defense. He's getting a little better, but second year in the league, he's still learning. This defense, this offense, he's still learning. And to me, from year 1 to year 2, imagine how he's going to be next year.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, Obi's going to be better than he is this year. How are we going to play him the same minutes we're playing him? That's the question that has to be.
Yeah, you mentioned that next year. I've been on record to say I think we have 12 more months, one more year to make that decision with Randle and Obi, because you run the risk. You cannot leave that go too long, because you're either hurting Obi's growth or you're hurting his trade value, one or the other, right? We took a player in the top 10. Show me how many top 10 drafted players in chat that in their second year aren't playing at least starters minutes.
Right.
On a team that's not really winning. Like you draft a player that high as a priority. Now, I know they didn't think Randle was going to pop. None of us knew that was going to happen. But that's why I said we have 12 more months. Go in a certain direction. Make a decision. In 12 more months from now, if Obi's only playing 11 minutes, we've probably got a problem on our hands. So I think it's a ticking bomb. It's a timer, and it's going to go off eventually.
Yeah, I definitely don't see Obi as being a guy that comes off the bench all the time. I think I could see him being in somebody's starting unit. It's a lot of things that's going to go on. Like you said, 12 months, it's a lot of things that's going to go on and stuff like that. And, like you were saying too, CT, they got Obi thinking that Randle might be traded, and he had one of the best seasons in his life. At his best season, I think he all-star and everything last year, most improved player and stuff like that. So, we see what happens as the thing goes on, man. It's going to be hard if Randle starts getting back into form and Obi only gets 11 to 14 minutes, man. Obi needs at least 18 to 20 minutes a night.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not always, real quick, it's not always what he's actually showing on the court. I think when a lot of people say he needs more minutes, it's because, again, he was drafted in the top 10, and you draft a player that high, you need to be giving them somewhat of a leash, right? Let them make some mistakes, let them play through it. That's critical to their growth, right? To become something. It's not just about the play. And again, I know Leon's pick, so that's what's going to be real interesting, KJ.
Hey, you know what? And another thing, Alawai, salute to you. Absolutely, appreciate it, brother. But another thing, let's think about the business side too, guys. Obi Toppin puts people in the seats.
Facts.
Little kids want to see a slam dunk when it comes to an NBA basketball game. Just alone in a high school game or whatever game, they want to see somebody dunk and fly in the air. Almost like how Blake Griffin was.
Yep.
You know, Blake Griffin played for Detroit. Everybody want to see the dunk. We want to see the. Come on, how many guys are doing a in the game J.R. Ryder dunk in the game? Not too many. And this is why the Knicks are going to keep him for the business aspect. The business side comes in. We have to keep this young man here. Now we know we need production. Tibbs, all right, you gotta get this young man production. So the excitement is gonna keep this man here, and he puts the money in the seat. So
box office.
Absolutely.
Like you said it, man. Like you said it. He was box office in college. He's been box office so far in his second season. Like you said, making the highlight plays. Yeah, and I think if we had a different type of coach, he'd definitely get more minutes. It just, we know what Tibbs' identity was and is. Also, there's also many other smaller factors. Like he plays really well with Quickly. Maybe Tibbs is thinking, okay, those two are buddies. One of the reasons why I want to keep them playing together, so they can learn. And maybe when Quickly and Obi continue to grow together, maybe they both become starters soon. They've got that chemistry together as well. But, one can only wonder. And like I said, 12 more months, and I think we'll have more answers to this situation. Because I think, do you guys, wholeheartedly believe they're still evaluating Randle? Or do you think he's somewhat untouchable for the next 12 months in their eyes, not in ours, but in theirs?
I mean, I don't think they're going nowhere from Randle too soon. But then again, if you start giving Obi some more minutes, and this guy starts coming off the bench scoring 14 points and 6 rebounds and 2 blocks and 1 steal, what you're gonna do? I think they gave. Randle has a movable contract also, and he may be able to be moved at a big deal, but I don't think it's going to be no time soon.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But to further that, then let me ask you: if Philadelphia called you, KJ, and said, "Here's Ben Simmons, but Randle's got to come back in the deal."
So just an even swap for Ben Simmons for Randle?
Or, yeah, maybe some other smaller parts. But let's say that you could have Ben Simmons, but Randle is the main piece that we need back.
Damn, CT, boy. You know what? I'm gonna say it, man. I think I would do it, man. I would do it. And the reason why I would do it is because I'm assessing these games, right? We know Toppin, we want to get a little younger. But what does Julius? Julius provides the force. He provides that on the team. But what happened in the playoffs? So I think a big sample size to see is we have to see what happens in the playoffs if we make the playoffs this year. But if it was straight up right now, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, and the reason I'm doing it is because Ben Simmons provides defense. Now, granted, we this man had a whole year to work on a shot. We don't know how this man's shot is right now.
Facts.
6'10", 6'9", guard, small, and then now we got interchangeable players. There's no more power forward. We got small power. We got guards. Guys can dribble. So I would do it. And he's a playmaker, so I would do it. The money's matched. I would do it.
Yep, and the D. You bring back Ben Simmons as D. That's your floor general solved. Obi. See, I don't really want to move on from Randle if I'm being honest, but I have probably got to do the deal because of Obi. You have a guy that's ready to just be your starting power forward, or try him as your starting power forward, and you bring Simmons in. I think you've got to, and it's hard to see Philly getting a better deal if I'm being honest. Right. You got to consider Shah and KJ chat. Why hasn't Philly made the deal yet? They're not getting anything that they like. If they get if you say here's an all-star Julius Randle to pair with Joel Embiid, I mean, but
I also think they would to sweeten the deal and probably make the money match. They might throw in someone like a Burks too.
Right.
I mean, they might throw in a Burks, and that might make it a little more juicy. I mean, I'm not a big Ben Simmons fan, but I mean, if you bring him in here, I know that he'll change the ramifications of the team, man. He'll make everything a little bit better and a little easier to facilitate things, man. He's a big guy, he's tall, he's strong, and I know he's not a big scorer, but he sure can slam the ball down on you if he get the lane. He's 6'10", he will throw it down on some of the best. So I mean, to move Randle to open it up the offense and move the ball around. I might be inclined to be like, all right, we got Obi. We might can bring up Luka from the G League to put him on the bench to back up Obi or something like that, or for a power forward or something like that. Word. So I mean, it's some things that could happen and wouldn't be I'm not opposed to it. I don't really. His game is his my thing is big on his the way he played in the playoffs last year. But you said, KJ, if he comes, he's been out of the league. I mean, he hasn't played all season. He might have been home just 3,000 jump shots a day or something like that. I'm not leaving the gym until I hit 3,000 jump shots. I mean, I'm astronomical, but if he comes in and he can hit a jumper and maybe even get to 72, 74% at the free throw line, I wouldn't be too much opposed to it.
Yeah, I think Simmons has a point to prove. Now, part of him sitting out, could be that mental, hurdles he's trying to overcome. I believe there could be some of that, but I think he's doing this to make a point to Philly, and when he does get traded, he's going to come out motivated, balling for whatever team that's on, and also. Could you imagine him running up and down with the fit with Obi and Mitch?
There you go.
That suddenly becomes a more a fit that makes more sense. Go ahead, KJ.
CT, man, I was just about to say that this guy becomes the leader on the team, one of the best. Imagine with Grimes, McBride, Barrett, right? I'm just throwing it out there, we have to think about that. Think about this. Ben Simmons is a double night, right? He averaged a double when he played in the league, right? Mm-hmm. Now, my question is to you guys: would this team be better right now? Say we start the whole season over. Julius is on Philly, and Ben Simmons is on New York. Will we be 16-18 right now? No. Nobody knows that, but. Do I think the Knicks will be much faster? The ball move a little bit better? Yes, I think so. Just because, to me, it's about the fit. I know I like Julius Randle was saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I mean, as far as the business side and for the Knicks to propel other guys, we may have to move on. If this thing is not going right with Julius, we may have to just move on.
It's business, when the parts fit and it makes more sense. And I don't love Simmons. The funny thing about I don't love Simmons' game any more than I love Julius's game. It just might make more sense. It solves the problem we just discussed about Obi and Randle together. You're maximizing your roster. You bring in a player that's younger than Julius Randle as well. And he may not be able to shoot, but at the very least, every single night, you're getting all NBA first team defense.
Yeah.
Right? At the very, very worst.
ACT, real quick. Can you imagine that lineup? McBride, Simmons, Grimes, RJ, and Mitchell Robinson. Defensively. Now, I'm talking about defensively. Imagine that lineup. I want you guys to manifest that lineup I just said in the lineup. And that's all I got to say right now, CT.
No, I mean, like I said, you raise a juicy point. And how much the thing is, I want to know with this front office, when I asked you that question about Randle, is he untouchable? I want to know in their eyes, are they looking at him like, nah, we just is part of this, or are they willing to put business first and say we're going to make any move? Obi Toppin's popping. We know Leon Rose has the ultimate final say, and he was that man with his arms raised in the air when Obi Toppin slid to the 8th spot, whatever it was. So they might be thinking, man, we didn't know Julius was going to pop. It was a fairy tale thing. Good to have him for a couple of years. Let's now revert back to the plan that we had all along, which was drafting Obi Toppin. Although we end up getting an all-star back in return for Julius now. Who would have thought that 2 years ago? Before people thought the Julius contract was a sunken cost. But imagine we turn that into an all-star and then we end up trading that for another young all-star. I don't think that's bad business at all.
That's not bad business.
But I don't think, personally, if you had to put a gun to my head, I don't think they're going to entertain a Julius thing just because he's part of the culture and they're probably worried about what it might look, re-signing him and then trading him.
Yeah, that's the nature of the business, guys. We don't know, but, we're on a quest to try to get a championship back in New York City. And that just has to be the thinking. We played the 82 games and we just gonna make the playoffs. No, we're trying to win a championship. And again, how long are we gonna keep this project going if it's not working? Sometimes you gotta blow it up. And let me tell you, if that trade was to happen, that would probably be one of the biggest trades ever in sports history. If something like that would have happened, just resigning a guy to a 4-year deal and then doing it, it'd be, and I'll put it like this, it just won't be just a Philly New York trade. It'll be a multiple team trades. It has to be. Because it's going to be that big. And I just put like this, I'm confident in the Knicks organization and Leon Rose and World Wide West. Whoever they bring in it is going to be the betterment of the team. If it's big guys like that going out, it's going to be better for the team, So I have to see what happens. But
from all we're hearing, Ben Simmons really wants to come to New York. This is a place he desires to come. Let that marinate. Can he handle this spotlight? Great point, Shah legacy. He hasn't shown the heart that's required yet to win. Another great point. He was in Philly, like D Cool says. He was in Philly with good players and couldn't get it done. Was that more fit? Was that more Ben Simmons? I think he was not a good fit with Embiid. I think they gave Tobias Harris too much money, but he did have a very good team and they couldn't get it done. But they were a Kawhi Leonard basketball bobbling a couple of times away from making the NBA finals, 2 years ago. So they did get close. Some teams just don't never get over that hurdle. But that, to KJ's point, when the Ben Simmons domino falls, that's going to be the first trade of the trade period. I think people are waiting on that now. And Philadelphia's got to get frustrated, right? You're running that organization. You got fans paying for tickets. You got this guy that's sat out almost half a season now. It's time to get a deal done,
Right. And another thing is, CT, with that, you got Philly, New York, the fan base, Philadelphia. If you guys been to Philly is rough to come play for. And then you got somebody, if you're a Philadelphia fan, well, New York City's rough. How can Ben Simmons handle the pressure in Madison Square Garden when you're not doing your job and you're getting booed? It's two different fan bases. To me, us Knicks fans not as bad as Philadelphia Eagles fans or Philadelphia 76ers fans. Them fans are rough. Now, we'll get on you, but we getting on you to toughen you up. Them guys are ready to throw you out and throw you to the wolves. So my thing is with that, guys, I think he's ready for the city, if New York City, if he does come in. He wants to be here. Media capital of the world. Who would not want to play in New York City? That's why I never understood when guys say, I don't want to play in New York City. I don't understand why.
And I think on the other end, Julius, if he had to go to another club, I think he wouldn't be mad at going to Philly. He's automatically in a contention spot. If Randle has to see himself on some other team, wouldn't he want to be on a team that can contend? Look good for the rest of his career, be another all-star as well. But it's tough to see it happening with two Atlantic division rivals, Shah.
That's hard. Yes.
It's too big of a trade, I think, for these two teams to deal with each other.
That definitely would be something to watch. Some games, especially if both of them make a play in or a play in or a playoff to go up against them. If with Randall on Philly and Ben
Oh,
in New York, that would be something to watch. You know, like I said, Ben Simmons, great player, man, 4-time All-Star. He's not, one of my he's not one of the guys that I would probably think about moving. I don't think they're gonna move Eastern Conference team to another Eastern Conference team. It would be lovely to see, but I don't
yep.
know if Philly would do it. I don't know if Philly would do it with New York, but it would definitely be something to see. Like I said, I'm not a big advocate of Ben Simmons and moving Randall, but if it was to happen, you see what happens. I think he would come in and electrify the guard. Man, he could play 3, 4 positions. Man, he could play small forward. He could play power forward. He could play shooting guard. He could play point guard. He might, if you want to run a small man lineup, he probably could even play a center position. So, he's a guy
Yeah.
that if you bring him in here, he's definitely going to be on some defensive stuff.
Yeah, it's just the other factor, like we go back to the Obi Toppin thing, that just solves another problem. You open the spot for that player you drafted to settle into that spot too. But yeah, I just keep going back to this front office. I think they're torn too. We always hear that there's a few players there's no consensus on. Scott Perry, from what Mark tells us, wanted DeMar DeRozan. They didn't go that way. There wasn't consensus on Lonzo Ball. There was a couple people interested, a couple people in the front office not. To you guys, I've thought this before. Is there too many cooks in the kitchen with this front office? You got Worldwide West's opinion. You got Leon, who's an amateur, first time president. You've got Scott Perry, that's been around and is loyal to some of his, other vets and things around the league. I mean, what do you guys think of this war room we have and the decision makers?
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic of players. I mean, not even players, but coaching staff, front office, and then you got media. So it's like and then you got Dolan, the head of which we have not heard one thing from Dolan, which is surprising since the Phil Jackson era came. We have not heard one thing from this man. Does he step? He's not stepping in. So for me, I have to go with the front office just based on how they've been drafting and the money that we've been saving and playing with house money and then pulling the way they pull Kemba here. I have to go with them, and I have to believe in these guys that they're going to pull out the best thing. But it could be some turmoil. We don't know. Just like the whole with Tom Thibodeau wanted to pick McBride and Grimes, and now you're starting to see Grimes starting to come in now. So it's to be determined, CT and Shy with this team.
Because there is a mixed bag that we've got, right? We've got players that aren't Tibbs guys. We've got some drafted players that were Tibbs guys and a drafted player that was Leon's guy. And we concoct them all together, and it's like, okay, which direction is this thing going? But I believe I agree with a lot what you just said. I trust the front office, to some degree in terms of drafting and making smart moves. I don't agree with all of their talent acquisition moves.
Right.
The Randall contract, you got to get credit for that.
Right.
There was a good value contract, definitely. I'm all for any front office, as a scarred Knicks fan that doesn't hand out any bad contracts. Like just something that's tradable, right? We don't have to attach, a generation of assets just to get off of.
Tired of that. Those years.
Yeah, we don't need nothing like the past, man. And I mean, we got some pieces on here that we can move, and we could do some things, man. There's a couple of point guards out there. There's a couple of big men out there. There's a couple of things, man. And we got about a month or so to see what's today's date, the 28th. We got about a month and some change to see what happens in this upcoming season about with the trade stuff. I mean, the COVID right now is really messing everything up because I think we'd have probably made some trades already and stuff like that. But we see what happens, man. I think this front office is going to come, and they're not going to penny pinch, man. I don't think they're going to go out there and get somebody that's run of amok. I think if they go out there to make a deal, I think they're going to go out there and make a deal. So let's see what happens with this front office, man. They first year, I mean, they first real year to really, second real year to after they made their, the acquisitions this year. See what happens, man.
Yep, yeah, and David's point, I think we're going to come down to relying on McBride and Grimes a lot more this season than we anticipated.
I said that.
Yeah, to be a successful team, barring any unforeseen moves that we don't know are going to happen. But yeah, Deuce and Grimes will play a big part if we end up succeeding this season. They're ready-made. They drafted. That's one direction we've shifted towards, drafting players that are more ready-made, which is easier to do when you're drafting late in the first round instead of 8th or 9th or 10th, like the Frank Ntilikina's and Kevin Knox's. Those picks, we went for a high ceiling, high upside swing that swung and missed.
And CT, just think what the front office did in the past 2 years by getting quickly to come here at 25, getting McBride and Grimes to come here. Like, our front office in the past wouldn't have made those savvy moves like that to get guys in here. So we brought 3 guys in here, right? And when we had good value on draft pick numbers and we saved money. Mm-hmm. So to me, with the front office, that the value that they did, those guys did a lot of things by drafting and to build our future. As before, we would have traded those picks out. We'd have shipped out a whole lot of money. Assets would have been gone, paying somebody one person for $100 million, and we still would have been paying them years later. So, this, I don't think that the front office gets a lot of credit as they should, just to change the dynamic and the money saving taxes and bringing in the players that they've done that we haven't seen in the past. Now we're just a whole new regime. They're bringing people in and they're moving pieces in and out. Like, again, they're still learning this part of the business, but guess what? They're not done yet, and I just cannot. It's to be determined, and I cannot wait to see what's next in store for this Knicks franchise and this team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to Sherwin's point, in terms of smart moves, I think the contract or the signing of Randle, was a good move. Whether you call it smart move or not, I think it was the right move. It was a good contract. I think they've drafted quite well, drafted with the picks they have. But I know Sherwin's not a fan of Leon at all. He wants to see Leon out of here. But, the jury's still out on him. I don't think he's done great work, but I don't think he's been, we've had far more worse executives, right. But he does need to step up. He needs to make a good move in this trade period, this summer coming up. If he really wanted to draft Obi, then why did they invest so much in Randle? So my whole thing is this front office seems to be all headed in different directions. With Tibbs, they all seem to be torn. It's like, and this is why we're getting a roster of parts that aren't fitting.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting, the Fourniers and things that aren't really Tibbs guys, who ultimately pulled the trigger on them. I know they didn't sign Randle, but I think Scott Perry was here when they signed Randle. But Leon wasn't here. But I think Deuce McBride, Quentin Grimes, they're starting caliber players. They're not going to be all stars, I don't believe, but they will be solid bets for us, for the future to come.
Right, SCT to go back. I see the stuff Sherman put in there. I'm looking at all those players. Most of them players they're on subpar 500 teams right now. With the exception of Tyrese Maxey with Philadelphia, but other than that, it's like, to give these guys a chance. Give these guys some time. And I think that they're going to shock a lot of people because they already shocked me a lot in these past couple years with the draft. Now it's just putting these pieces together, and once we put these pieces together, guys, let me tell you, this Knicks team is going to go to a whole nother level. They're still scratching the surface, CT and Shot. We're still on the roller coaster right now, baby.
Facts.
We started slow. We bumping. We hit the road. We bumped up. We at 16 to 18 right now. We right there. We see the light. It's coming, but just give us some time, guys, and slowly but surely returning.
To that point, did last season's unexpected success raise expectations for this team too soon? should last season have just been a losing season, and then this season we try to, but because we won last season, people were expecting us to make the second or third round now, when maybe it was a step too soon for what their plan was.
Yeah, I sat back and watched the way they built this team this year. And like I said, I don't think Fournier was a number 1 or a number 2. I don't think Kemba was a number 1 or a number 2, but they did put some pieces to the team to try to get some more offense. It worked out some games. I mean, some games we've lost more than we won right now, but we're back on a 2-game winning streak. So it's a couple of things that we're going to have to do, man. And I trust this front office to make a valid trade. I don't know how big the trade is going to be, but I think it's going to be something that we all be like, ooh, that's nice. Okay, good trade. So let's see what happens with this front office, man. I got some confidence in Rose back there and the front office to make to do some willing and dealing.
Yep, straight facts. Jay Boogie, appreciate your love. Appreciate you, fam. We back on Christmas. That banger is now out there. It's up on YouTube. Check it out, and a lot of all the other media sites. Hopefully, Jay Boogie, let us know where we can find it. But it was a banger with Papa Left and Cully. More bangers to come from Jay Boogie. Look out for that. Appreciate the love, and this Knicks community we've built. All of us out here, love all the takes. The chat, the fire, the energy everyone's bringing. We all have different opinions and ways we want to build this thing, but we all just want to see us win. There's been Knick fans for 50, 60, 70 years, and Knick fans for a couple of weeks, but we all want to win. It's easier to play armchair GM as well. That's the tough thing. If I'm in the war room and I know why a guy made a decision and it was ultimately the really wrong decision, I can definitely get on them. But it's hard to, without knowing all the factors too. There's a whole business side of the thing. Like something so small, I brought up the Damian Dotson thing. He shares the same agent as De'Aaron Fox, with that Kentucky connection. So people just wonder, why did we just sign Damian Dotson again out of the blue? Well, there's different things at the business side of things that we may never know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Trying to do agents a favor, and people wondering why Elfrid Payton was the starting point guard for so long last season. He shares the head of CAA, same agent as Julius Randle, who was in a contract year. So, there's different factors at that, guys.
Absolutely. And like I said, this is business, guys. It's about the relationships, and anything you do in life is about the relationships you build with people. These guys, Leon Rose and Wild West, have relationships with everybody, but it just has to be the right business deal. So if I know CT, Shy, you're a good businessman, regardless of what team I'm on, guess what? I'm trying to make sure that I get the best business. And you, as a friend of mine, I know that you're going to give me the best business deal there's possible. It's business at the end of the day. And that's why it's valuable to have guys like this, high-level executives like this in the league. And I'm just happy that we got these guys, because these guys know how to will and deal. They get those phone calls. They get those calls. Other things that go on in the NBA, them guys been through it all. They know the league. Now it's just waiting on the right deal. And I just think they're in place to get the right deal for whoever's going to come in here. And anybody can be tradable. But guess what? They're not giving away the farm like back in the day. We're not paying Larry Johnson 7 years after the contract's over. You know what I mean? Like we're not paying Amari Stoudemire. We're not paying these guys anymore. They're not doing those contracts. Like Julius' contract was a great contract because it is a tradable contract if it doesn't work out. Who knows? It could have been a backdoor deal like Julius. Look, honestly, we're going to say 4 years, but honestly, my man, if it don't work in 2.5, hey, man, no love lost, no problem. We know it's deals like that, but they're not going to say that, but we can say that as far as business. If you in that business community, you know it, it's deals like that. So Sky's the limit for them. They're playing with house money right now.
That's why he signed the 4-year deal to KJ. Another part of the business, that great point you made. By him signing only a 4-year deal, when he's 31,
right,
he'll be ready for the next 5-year deal.
Exactly.
And
Come on, man.
sail off into the sunset.
Exactly.
But Jay Boogie confirms we back on Christmas, officially on Spotify now.
Nice.
Going to dial that thing up ASAP. Get on it. We're still in the festive season. It's a beautiful track that'll be played year after year. It's ingrained in my mind now. And you guys just hit a jewel with that one, man. I'm glad it's on Spotify too. Officially, congratulations. It's
Nice.
official. It's there. Have you guys heard it yet?
Yeah. Nice.
You have? Yep.
Yeah, it's very.
I like the podcasting one. When you talk about all the podcasts, I heard that one too, but that's a nice shout out, man. So salute to Jay Boogie on that.
Yeah, and the Randle one, Jay Boogie been showing me love since the beginning. He dropped some CT. The streets are buzzing on the Randle track last season. Means a lot, and I'm going to keep pushing this thing. So keep doing your thing, Jay Boogie. Appreciate you coming with more and more fire. The whole Knicks community, get round it, and more to come, more bangers. More success, more bangers, and RJ Barrett's another one. Let's touch on that. To David's point. I said this to Mark earlier, like this week as well. RJ Barrett is extension eligible next season, right? I think the Knicks so far aren't going to entertain giving that money until the end of next season so far, because we haven't seen anything yet. Unless he just really wants to be in New York and he agrees on a below market contract. So, what do you guys think about RJ so far?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's up for. I mean, anybody could get it, man. I like RJ. I like his the way he's playing this year. He got caught up with the COVID protocol stuff and stuff like that. But I think RJ will end the year at about 17, 18 points a night. I think he'll average around seven rebounds and maybe about 4 assists. So that would be a little progression from what he did last year. I mean, it might be about the same or a little bit higher. But I think once he can, he's only been here a couple of years, man. He's only 21, man. Once he gets a little better handle and learn how to pull up that short jump shot from right at the key or at the foul line, yeah, he's gonna be a monster, man.
Yep.
Yeah. It's mediocre for me with Randle. I mean, I'm sorry, with RJ. Some nights I feel like he could be one of the best defenders in the league. Other nights, I'm like, man, I wish his jump shot would get been more consistent. But it's the sample size of him. Has he feel like this in his first year, he did subpar, but then he came in for Duke with the other guys, right? With John Morant and Zion Williamson. Has he lived up to his expectations so far? It's been okay, but we want better out of him. We have to watch him, guys. And I'm not ready to get his man another contract right now. I'm not at all. I can't see us giving him a big contract right now. But my thing is CT and Shy. We have to watch the Brooklyn Nets because his godfather is Steve Nash. And we know Steve Nash will make a play for him. So it's like before that can happen, if the Knicks know they ain't gonna do it, they're gonna wind up trading RJ only if he's not producing the way we think he can produce or the way he can produce. Then again, his age is good too. So it's like they have a lot of decisions to make these next couple, like you said, 12 months, CT. They got a couple months to make. They got to see what's going to happen, but I just don't know. I don't know with RJ right now. Some nights he has it, some nights he's just too inconsistent for me right now.
Yeah, and facts, and that could be an acquired taste for the president, Leon. I think RJ Barrett, if you had to ask me right now, is he a player they would include in a blockbuster deal? I think they would. I think they would entertain it because for a lot of the points you raised and the chat too, he's inconsistent. Some people were worried about his ceiling. We know he can give you intangibles, heart, desire, wants to be in New York. How much can he improve? That will come down to what they think and also what deal is out there. If he holds up a blockbuster deal to get Karl Towns, I don't think the Damian Lillard things are out there anymore. it's tough to predict what's out there, but the fact that he's going to have to get paid soon, that worries me, to be honest. And I was kind of hoping that was a no-brainer. If anything, this season, some people want to make the playoffs, some people want to go deep. This season's all about trying to find out what our future is going to look like too, with these decisions that have to be made. And RJ Barrett is a big part of that. To be eligible for the max extension at the end of next season, a smart front office would wait. This season's not enough. We've only got 50 more games left, guys. It's not going to be enough to make that decision. We're going to need to come back next year and do it all again, Shah, and see what he looks like after another summer.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's the whole big idea. You hear that out there a lot. I think if I was, someone in the front office, that's the way I would play it. I would play him and see what happens next year. And then, they can always offer him some, during the season, I believe. And if not, they can always talk to him at the end of the season and see what he wants to do. I think I don't know if RJ, if he wants to stay in New York, would he take the max deal? I think he might take a little change less just to stay in New York, but it'll be some teams out there that want RJ, no question.
Yeah, Manchild, that's from Toronto too, or is in Toronto, I believe. Says Toronto will be one of the first teams to want RJ. Nick Nurse, the national team coach out there. I think if RJ had to play anywhere else, I think he definitely, Toronto would be bona fide his second team that he would love to play for and go back home. Now, not to play devil's advocate, but if they were to give you Fred VanVleet and maybe Pascal Siakam
for who?
For Barrett.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no question. I'm taking that deal.
Pulling the trigger instantly.
Taking that deal because do they make us better now? Absolutely. We, for so long we've been too many projects. We've been waiting to see. And do I sacrifice a young player for those two players? I would.
Okay. I was gonna ask for OG, but I don't know if they'd do that. And I think they paid Fred VanVleet the bag. I don't think that's a contract. They're not winning. I don't know if that's a contract they'll want long term. I think he'll be available in that, definitely. I'd try and maybe get that Chris Boucher as well, a long rangey guy that can shoot. But look, I want RJ here. I just hope we get more out of him. But also good point about I believe it was Ala Wise. Yeah, then they may re-up him, but they don't have to max him. Right. Definitely, maybe he, Leon's, can negotiate the contract. Maybe, if he's not living up to the expectation, maybe he just gets a mediocre extension. Yep. Definitely. Let's not rule that out too.
Yeah. Right. I'm on that same road too. I don't think, I think they can talk him into signing a 3-year maybe contract to stay here, maybe not a max, but something pretty nice. I think they would offer him something there, and I think he would like to be a Knick. So
Yeah. Now, with the trade deadline coming up, tell me in the chat too. Who are your untouchables? Like, is there anyone for you on this roster that you want to really, really want to keep here? That you think are 1 or 2, 3 building blocks that everyone else is available. Let's just prioritize these guys.
Yes. Go ahead, Shah.
There's nobody. I mean, maybe some of the young guys, but there's no one that I see on the roster that's really untouchable. Maybe Deuce, maybe McBride, but I'm sorry, maybe Deuce or maybe Grimes. They may be since they're here. I don't think Tibbs entertained anything for Obi, but I mean for IQ. But if the deal comes through, I think IQ could be in a deal or something like that too. I don't really see anybody. I mean, realistically, I think Fournier and Randle is not untouchable, but I don't think they will move them too soon. But everybody else, I think everybody else is up for grabs.
Yep.
Our future big three is untouchable, guys.
Yeah,
Grimes, McBride, and Toppin.
Yeah, I feel you.
I believe that could be a future big three for New York Knicks for years to come.
No IQ.
No IQ.
Obi over IQ.
Obi over IQ, McBride over IQ, and Grimes over IQ. And I like IQ, but for what those two gentlemen possess in Grimes and McBride, Quickly doesn't possess that defense, a mindset like them two. To me, they don't. He doesn't.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. One thing I've noticed, consensus is a lot of guys are just high on this current, rookie class that we recruited. Grimes, McBride, in the limited opportunities they've had to show out. Most people really want to clamor onto them. Obi, Quickly seems to be people are divided. Some people are on he's a spark plug, limited ceiling, and some people are incredibly high on him and his work ethic. As well. To me, ideally, I want to hold on to all four of them, and Mitch too. Obviously, Mitch, Obi, Quickly, Grimes, and McBride. I think. And look, I still want to keep Barrett, like I said, but yeah, if Barrett is the hold up for getting a bona fide star in here, then he hasn't shown enough. For the third overall pick, in his third year, he should be a bona fide number 2 on a team right now. But right now, he's a role player. Let's be honest. Some nights he looks great. Some nights he's just a role player. And you can't really, you can't pay that. You can't invest that heavily right now, especially when Randle's inconsistent a bit as well.
Facts.
Yep. And that's what leads down the Ben Simmons thing. Again, at the very least, every single night you're getting that player that plays solid D. Right, solid D. On this roster right now, can we say anything about any player that we know we're going to get this every single night outside of maybe Deuce or Grimes?
No.
You can't.
No.
And that's the thing I'm saying is we know this team it can shoot, but where's the consistency every night? Where's that AI? Where's that Allen Iverson every night? I know what you're gonna get me every night. Where's that LeBron? Where's that every night? We won it in Julius, but we don't know what Julius is gonna get us every single night. We know I'm gonna take that back. We know that Julius is good for a double-double every night. And it could be a double-double, it could be any little thing. But we just don't have that on this team yet where we know this guy's gonna give me this. Now, with our young players, we know that Grimes is gonna make at least 1 3-pointer a game because his shot just looks great. We know that McBride and Grimes are gonna play defense, but I know what they're gonna give me every single night. We know that Obi Toppin is gonna bring me that hustle every single night. He's gonna jump out the gym. We know that. But as far as and I can throw in Alec Burke. Alec Burke is gonna give me a 3-pointer, but every single night consistently, it's not consistent enough on this team.
Yep. Yeah, it's about ceiling. Like you said, Deuce, Grimes, they have high ceilings. And that's what people love about them. A two-way guys that help you win as well. A lot of the other pieces aren't two-way players. RJ Barrett's probably the third that has the most potential as well. The shot, I can see that really improving every year. I don't doubt RJ's shot. It's his handle. It's his shot creation.
Facts.
From a 2 guard or a 3, you need really good shot creation and a great handle as well. So that's questionable. He really needs to work on that. There are still times I see him under the basket on the right side of the hoop, and he still uses his left hand, and he gets blocked, because he favors the preferred hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely does that. He has some different moves from what he had last year, but he does tend to labor to that left side of the court to try to make a layup. I like RJ. I would love to see him stay here, but for the right package, for the right person, RJ, I like you. I still follow you and stuff like that, but see ya.
Yeah. So Obi and Quickly people are divided on, but Grimes and McBride, I haven't heard anybody that is low on them or wants to discard them. So yeah, we really could be onto something with these guys. Rokas is playing well overseas as well. I think he'll come down at least for summer league, and we'll get a closer look at Rokas too. Maybe that future point guard selection could be Grimes and Rokas together, and we don't make any blockbuster move. Maybe we don't make any blockbuster point guard move, KJ.
Right. Look what Cleveland's doing with that young team they got. Nobody predicted Cleveland Cavaliers had a team they haven't. They're playing their young guys. And that's why I said these young guys that are coming in the league now, these guys are NBA ready guys. And we have 2 NBA ready guys just not getting enough playing time yet. So it's like, are we sacrificing the money? But the production, it shows when those 2 guys are on the court, the production is much better to the fan base and on the court. We can see it. So it's like, guys, put these guys in, regardless of what the front office may say, whoever's denying it. You got to go with your gut feeling. When you go with your gut feeling on something, it always works out the best way. And so that's why I said them guys they're untouchable, because they are the building blocks we need to get to that championship pedigree level that we know for years to come. It's just bringing the other different pieces now. How long are we going to go with the same project over and over again? It gets played out the while. Next 2-3 years, we with the same team. Hey, man, we tried it last year. We brought 2 more pieces in. It's okay, but it's not where it's supposed to be right now. There's no way this team should be 16 and 18 right now with the players and the shooting percentage that we got on this team right now. There's no way this team should be that way. So I say that to say, these guys got it in 12 months, and that was a good prediction, 12 months. This team should be way different. Even next year, this team should be way different going forward.
Yep. Yeah, and to that point, Shah, in the chat, we have 3 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons that I don't think they have any desire to really use. With these rookies, they got their hands full already trying to play some dudes, unless we make obviously some blockbuster moves and gut this team and we just clear up a lot of roster spots, because Kevin Knox, he's probably not going to be here. Alec Burks or Fournier, one of those 2 vets, and Noel, probably not going to be here, I don't think. So I can see us clearing some roster spots, but I can't see, if Tibbs is still here, I can't see us making, both first-round selections next year. I just can't.
Yeah, I definitely don't see us trying to fill up the roster spots with the 2 picks that we got. As the 2 or 3 picks that we have coming up, I think those picks are going to be some of the picks that we put together to pull somebody in here. I think both of those picks, the Hornets pick, the Hornets pick and the Mavericks pick, I think they're up for grabs. And you put some first round picks, maybe a second round pick and 2 second round picks into something. I mean, you add a couple of players, Fournier, Noel, or Burks. I mean, that's like 3 picks and almost $40 million right there. What can we get with that?
Yep. Yeah, straight facts. And I know it's getting late, so let's get ready to wind it up for tonight. But we'll be back tomorrow night, post-game, pre-game, post-game. Knicks Real Talk against Detroit back-to-back. Let's make it 3 in a row. And, salute to everyone in the chat. Appreciate the energy. Let's keep it rolling. The New York Knicks are here. Whether it's you want us to succeed this season or your eyes are focused on the future. I still think the future's bright for us, if we make the right moves. And the Kings on the panel, Sharp Hours, KJ tonight, great show. Let's get your thoughts before we close up, with the back-to-back tomorrow. Let's get.
Yeah, I'm just hoping for another solid game, not a blowout. I just hope that this team comes out and plays basketball. The team that we know that these guys can do. We know this team could put numbers up. We need to go on this winning streak and just be consistent, no matter who you're playing out there. Get this W tomorrow with one game under 500, and let's just play basketball and try to get Kemba Walker and Julius Randle some rest because we have personnel. Let Deuce McBride play some more with IQ with some of the young Knicks players because we're playing a young Detroit Pistons team. We still can't keep them lightly, but we need to play a lot of them tomorrow to help us out, guys.
Yeah, facts. And you got me thinking about that Kemba thing too. Whoever threw that out there is a great question. Let's see tomorrow. You know, I have a feeling, touch wood, we don't get any more COVID protocols. That could always hit us at any point. Heck, I think Wayne Selden entered protocols today. You know, the guy's just cheering on the bench and he gets protocols. So,
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, salute to Wayne Selden. You know, they can't waive him now. You know, they got to hold on to him.
Yeah,
but that's a roster spot I know is going to clear up. It's probably
definitely
Lucas Samanic. You know, he's recovering from the foot injury. He could be the dude to take that spot. But yeah, sharp hours. You know, let's get it tomorrow night.
Yeah, salute to the chat. Salute to you, CT. Salute to you, KJ. Let's have a productive game tomorrow, man. Get out there first and third quarters, man, and win those quarters, man. And play with some pace. Let's get it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Facts. And you guys got me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm locking in and out. But yeah, appreciate everyone. You know, New York Knicks finally back-to-back wins for the first time since October. Let's see how they look tomorrow. Hopefully it's a blowout. We can rest the young cats. Let's get it. Peace. See you tomorrow. Knicks Real Talk. See you there.
Absolutely.